Hey, what's going on everyone? This is iReviews back with another video, and today we're talking about iOS 16.4, which is turning out to actually be an amazing update. Now, due to the fact that iOS 16.3 didn't bring that many new features and changes, we kinda expected this to be better and have many new features, but not as many as it's turning out to have. This is an amazing update, and it will be even better because we're still only on beta 1, so the future of course is looking really good for this update. So let's go ahead and take a look at some more new features of iOS 16.4, and of course talk about everything else you need to know regarding this update. Now, before we get started, just want to ask you guys for a really quick favor. If you're still watching the videos and not subscribed to the channel, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. It really helps a lot. And we're starting things off with the personal hotspot settings. So when you go to your personal hotspot, if you have an iPhone 12 or newer, you will see this option right here to maximize capability. Well, if you have an older device, you won't be able to see it. You don't have this option. Well, until now, because with the release of iOS 16.4, also that will be on older devices, so an iPhone 11 or older still will get the option here to maximize capability. Here's another really interesting change with iOS 16.4. When you go to your Wi-Fi networks and you're connected to an unsecured network, basically a network that doesn't have a password protection, it will now suggest you that you go ahead and turn on your VPN, which is actually really cool. Talking about VPNs, you will get a new action on the Shortcuts app as well to set VPN. So as you probably know, with iOS 16.4, we got a lot of new actions with the Shortcuts app, and this is also a new one. So connect to VPN, you can tap right there, and you will have your VPNs here if you have them on the list on your settings app, and you can also choose here to disconnect, toggle, set on demand, or toggle on demand, so whatever option you choose. So now you finally have the options to connect your VPN via a shortcut, which also can be used actually for your automations. Now, talking about shortcuts and Siri can now turn off your iPhone. Now, previously Siri had a new feature where it would actually reboot your iPhone. Now it can turn it off completely. Turn my iPhone off. All you have to do here is just give the confirmation and Siri will turn off your iPhone. On the podcast app on iOS 16.4, when you go to your library and you go to latest episodes, now you will have there the exact time when that episode has been released. So you can see right there, it says 4 hours, so it won't say today, it will say the exact time when it was released. There are a ton of really welcome changes on the music app, especially some glyphs, some pop-ups that we get when performing different actions. Apple has changed a lot of those, has made a lot of those smaller, which is actually way better. So when you go to your songs, for example, let's say we want to add a song to a playlist, we can add this song to a playlist, and you can see right there it shows that little pop-up, which looks really nice. Now when you actually do this, you can also tap on it. So when I add to playlist, right there I can tap on this and it will actually open that playlist. You can see highlight the song that we just added. There's also a new glyph here when you love a song. So if we tap love right there, you can see it says loved. That's new as well. So now on, Apple has moved with the music app and added those like smaller glyphs right here at the bottom, not just show the bigger pop-ups in the middle of the screen. You also get an option here to suggest less. So when you get actually different suggestions, instead of saying suggest less songs like this, it just says suggests less. And when you're playing songs on the music app, you will see now a different glyph right here. So this will of course show when you're on an album, because on like different scenarios it will show that album art right there, but it shows the waveform right here when you're playing an album, and it's much different from the previous version. Now this right here is also really interesting on the weather app. When you don't have precise location turned on for weather, it will show right there at the top. We're not sure where you are, so right here really interesting. It will show also the last updated time just underneath it, but it says that when you don't have precise location turned on for the weather app. if you use the Apple Wallet app, and of course you have your cards there. Now you also get filters for your Apple cards right here. So you tap there and you can filter your Apple cards. Also new with iOS 16.4 is this rounded and more bolder icon for Face ID. So whenever this pops up, it will be way rounder here and also bolder. Now, when talking about new features of iOS 16.4, this is a really interesting one which hasn't actually yet been available. Probably will be with beta 2 or beta 3, but it has been found on the code of iOS 16.4, and it's basically a feature within the settings app under the battery section. You can see right here where it says home and lock screen. It will also display here how much the always on display is consuming battery. So it won't say home and lock screen and basically have everything there together. It will be separate only for the always on display, which is really nice, and I believe that should be there. And of course, iPhone users that have an always on display turned on have to know how much actual battery is that consuming and whether it's worth keeping it on or not. So now that we have seen a lot of new features on iOS 16.4, let's take a look at the battery performance and let's see how it's actually performing. Well, right here we have the battery performance with about there like maybe 65% battery, 6 hours and 8 minutes. Then we have 6 hours and 54 minutes, but that's about 100% battery. And right here we have 6 hours again and 17 minutes with 75% battery. So basically it's actually okay, maybe about the same as iOS 16.3. Just to be honest with you guys, I haven't actually noticed any like major changes when it comes to battery life from iOS 16.1 up to now. I think it's basically the same, maybe slightly better or worse in some cases, but it's actually pretty much the same. So based on what you do on your device and whether you use Wi-Fi or of course cellular, that will be a lot of changes here, but it's pretty much the same as iOS 16.3. And now let's quickly talk about the performance. Now performance is actually looking quite good. So we are on 16.4, even though it's beta 1, it should be good. And here we have the latest Geekbench test from Geekbench 6. The single core score at 2,516, pretty good. And the multi-core score at 6,396. Now this is the test with Geekbench 6, not Geekbench 5, which I used to use previously. This is the new Geekbench 6, which should actually be way more accurate than the previous one, and the performance is looking quite good. So what's next when it comes to iOS 16.4? Well, it's almost like on Thursday there will be 2 weeks since the release of beta 1, and I would expect Apple actually to release a new beta this week. Probably as soon as tomorrow. I expect Apple to have a new beta out, so that will be beta 2. Hopefully it will keep up with beta 1 and have a lot of new features and changes. And then of course we should go through another 2 or 3 betas before we see the RC version, and then probably towards the end of March the release to the public of iOS 16.4, which will most likely be the last big updates with a lot of features of iOS 16 before Apple moves on and of course releases the first beta of iOS 17. So that's pretty much it for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Go ahead, leave a like if you did. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you on the next one.